Testing, testing. How do I sound? All right, welcome to Leisrealtalk. Hello, everyone. Do I sound all right? I just want to make sure my microphone works. Yes? Okay, well, can someone tell me? Not start yet? Here we go. All right. All right. Well, I don't see anyone commenting on not hearing me. I guess I sound okay. Okay. Let's get started. We have so much to talk about today. It's like two live streams packed into one because so much has happened over the past few days. Not only will we explore who is really running China and the sudden death of yet another general, we'll also uncover new details about the death of former Premier Li Keqiang and what really happened at the party Congress when Hu Jintao was forcibly removed from his seat. Okay, I'm going to check my audio one more time. Okay, people say, okay, Chris has made no comments. All right, everything is good. Okay, good. So who is running China now? Well, not Xi Jinping anymore, in my opinion. Clear signs that a seismic power shift within the Chinese Communist Party has taken place. Xi Jinping has continued to be missing in action. For the past 3 days, he completely disappeared from the front page of the People's Daily. Not only just picture, text, there was nothing about him on the front page of the People's Daily. This has not happened. The most that we've seen is him disappearing for 2 consecutive days, but this is 3 days. Also, former vice chairman of the Central Military Commission, Qiliang, suddenly died. And CCP has replaced the officials in charge of Hong Kong and Taiwan affairs. And most importantly, the monthly Politburo, the monthly Politburo meeting for May is canceled or not taking place. So what exactly is going on? Now, we know when observing CCP politics, one of the methods is to pay attention to what has happened that wasn't supposed to happen, like wave after wave of purges targeting Xi Jinping's loyalists in the military. But an equally important and often overlooked indicator is when things that were supposed to happen suddenly don't, such as the missing monthly Politburo meeting in May. So we're, 3 days into the new month? In China, it's 4 days. And yet there's no mention anywhere about the Politburo meeting. The meeting is usually held every month without fail. And 2 things are guaranteed. One, it's always convened by the party leader. And it's reported with identical language across all official party media. Even at the height of the pandemic in early 2020, the meeting was temporarily handled by the standing committee. So there's really only one possible explanation that something major has happened, and it directly involves Xi Jinping. He may no longer be able to convene it. This abnormality also indirectly confirms the rumored expanded Politburo Standing Committee meeting that allegedly took place in May. Reportedly, the meeting took place not just once, but multiple times, and is an extraordinary gathering that can only be convened under special circumstances, and it would replace the normal monthly Politburo session. More critically, it appears that this special meeting was convened by Xi Jinping's opponents. So Xi has not appeared in public for 14 days now. The Chinese government's website dedicated to Xi's activities stopped at May 20th with no updates. This aligns with unverified online claims that Xi has stayed in Henan, Luoyang, after his inspection tour and has not returned to Beijing. Some suggest that Xi Jinping didn't even want to return to Beijing. So the whole world is trying to figure out who is running China, not just people like you and me. Heads of state are curious too. The United States and Russia have taken actions to find out who's really in charge in Zhongnanhai. The White House has repeatedly mentioned that a phone call between Trump and Xi would take place to discuss tariffs. However, it's been a while and such a call still hasn't happened. I think the latest we've heard is that the two may have a call this week. So it's only May. It may happen. I'm not surprised. I think Trump is certainly aware of the situation and is trying to have a call with Xi Jinping to determine if he is still the final decision maker. But the Chinese side is avoiding the call. They haven't sorted out their internal business and can't afford to let the Americans detect any changes, hence the delay. There's another person who's also worried, and that's Vladimir Putin. I think he is more anxious than Trump. Russian media reported that Putin's friend, Belarus President Lukashenko, arrived in Beijing on June 2nd for a visit. Now, Lukashenko is likely sent by Putin to gauge if Xi Jinping is still running the show, and if not, who really is. His visit is supposedly from June 2nd to the 4th, and it's been 2 days since he's in Beijing, and Xinhua hasn't shown any pictures of Xi Jinping and him. So we have one more day to wait. So tomorrow, if we still don't see any pictures showing the two together, then we should seriously be concerned. So the question is who? I mean, we have one more day. I mean, it's only one more day before we find out. I think even Xi Jinping has lost power. The party elders may ask him to go to Beijing to host a visiting head of state. And he may even be asked to have a call with Trump. I mean, those are all possible. I'm not saying that if those events do take place, that means Xi Jinping is back in power. That doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily equate to each other. All right, but it will be interesting to find out if he is in Xinhua coverage tomorrow. So there are overwhelming amounts of leaks, whispers, and rumors coming out of China saying that Wang Yang is replacing Xi Jinping as the party leader, and Hu Jintao will be his premier. Let me share a picture. Here we go. I mean, these whispers, rumors, you name it, leaks are wild. And they also say that the current Politburo Standing Committee will be dissolved and there will be a new leadership team. It's said that we might be weeks or even days away from finding out about the leadership change in Beijing, because it's becoming more and more difficult for the leadership to hide the fact that Xi Jinping is out. The latest rumor says that we may hear it as early as next week. Okay? So here's what they say. They say that the party elders have sent a delegation to Luoyang to negotiate with Xi Jinping, and Xi made several demands. He asked his families, including his siblings and daughter, to not be implicated after his stepping down. He asked his father's legacy be protected, and the party elders promised that they won't touch his family and will not demolish his father's memorial hall or mausoleum. Xi Jinping reportedly also expressed a strong opposition to Hu Jintao becoming his successor. Instead, he's okay with Wang Yang to succeed him. Now, as far as the reason why he distrusts Hu Jintao so much, people believe it might have to do with the drama at the closing ceremony at the CCP's 20th Party Congress when Hu Jintao was escorted off the stage. So let me share with you pictures. Remember this picture? So this is based on various accounts that are coming out, okay? Or various leaked speeches by party elders given at the expanded Politburo Standing Committee meeting held in May. So basically, from what they described, Xi Jinping pulled a soft coup against Hu Jintao at the 20th Party Congress in 2022. Before the Congress, all factions fought fiercely for personnel arrangements. Xi Jinping initially agreed to let Li Keqiang be the vice president, which is a ceremonial position. It doesn't hold any power. So he agreed to let Li Keqiang be the vice president and Wang Yang be the premier. He later changed his mind and agreed to let Hu Chunhua be the premier if both Li Keqiang and Wang Yang would step down and retire. So the Hu Jintao faction, including Wang Yang and Li Keqiang, they agreed to retire, and they did. However, Xi Jinping made a sneaky personnel change at the last minute and swapped Hu Chunhua with Li Keqiang. So not only Hu Chunhua wasn't the premier, or wasn't made the premier, he was completely kicked out of the Politburo. The only reason Xi Jinping was able to pull this off was because Zhang Youxia and the military were on his side and supportive of him. And Zhang had sent troops ahead of the party congress to keep Beijing under control. So when Hu Jintao discovered that Hu Chunhua's name wasn't even on the leadership list at the closing ceremony, as you can see in the picture here, I mean the folder, right? What happened to my? I don't know what happened to my. I have a whole deck prepared for this. I don't know, technical difficulties from Lei. Anyway, we'll just do it without the slides. So bad. Lei is struggling with her technical issues again. All right, so this is what happens when you devote your time all on research. I mean, still until the very last minute, I was still checking facts and trying to figure out what is, what to say. And this is what happens. I wish I had more time checking my technical issues. I don't believe that file is entirely gone. I don't know what happened. Anyways, what happened? Okay, anyway, let's just do it without the visuals. I have a whole deck of slides prepared for you. Unfortunately, we're not going to match names with faces. Okay, so when Hu Jintao discovered that Hu Chunhua's name wasn't even on the leadership list at the closing ceremony, a drama unfolded in front of the world's media. As Hu Jintao tried to look at the document, Li Zhanshu didn't let him touch the folder, and Xi Jinping eventually asked his bodyguard to escort Hu Jintao out. Now, this made Wen Jiabao furious, who almost wanted to get up and walk out with Hu Jintao, but he didn't because it would be an explosive news. So how do I know this? This is according to a leaked speech by Wen Jiabao. So Hu Chunhua became the focal person of the entire political drama at the closing ceremony of the party congress. This is the reason why Xi Jinping feared that Hu Chunhua, if appointed to succeed him, would take revenge. And so he preferred Wang Yang instead. So what's Wang Yang's view on this? He originally was said not interested in being the next leader. His speech at the expanded Politburo Standing Committee meeting was also leaked, and there were two different versions. There were two versions that are completely different. So different people have different views. Not everyone believes that they are authentic, but I also don't believe that they're 100% fake. Yes, they're not 100% authentic, but they're not 100% fake either. I think some parts of the speech might have been embellished, but the overall reasoning and logic are accurate. I'll tell you about his speech at the end because it's a little bit long and it's not 100%. It's just for you to be used as a reference. It's not because they're not, in my opinion, 100% accurate. But anyway, but the events they all describe are very similar about what actually happened behind the scene at the 20th Party Congress. So who Wang Yang didn't want to, take this position, but it was said that the party elders went to convince him to step up and take the position. So that goes back to my Saturday's talk about the three demands he made, or the three conditions he had in order for him to come out and assume this top leadership role. Because actually nobody is interested in taking over this mess from Xi Jinping. So now, so that's what the whispers and the rumors are saying. So how do we verify that? So Wang Yang's return can be indirectly verified through some personnel changes. Okay, on May 29th, the Chinese State Council appointed Zhao Shitong as Deputy Director of the Taiwan Affairs Office, removing Qiu Kaiming from the same post. Qiu had been in the position for a year and a half. He has long been involved in Taiwan-related work and is known as a Taiwan expert. He's also a protege of Wang Huning, who was put in charge of Taiwan affairs by Xi Jinping. So his replacement has years of experience in diplomacy at the International Department, which handles diplomacy for the party. And Zhao served as director of the Japan division and oversaw Northeast Asia affairs, including Japan and South Korea. So Taiwan has become a global hotspot and is now considered an international issue. So this personnel change at the Taiwan Affairs Office suggests that the CCP has realized that Taiwan, the so-called Taiwan issue, is a diplomatic issue, or it's an international relations issue. So they put in a diplomat instead of a Taiwan expert. So that's one personnel change. But the other personnel change is even more dramatic. The following day, on May 30th, Beijing abruptly removed Zheng Yanxiong from three key positions. The director of the liaison office in Hong Kong, deputy director of the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office, and national security advisor to the Hong Kong National Security Commission. So Zheng Yanxiong is a hardline wolf warrior favored by Xi Jinping. He's known for violently suppressing dissidents in Hong Kong. His removal and the appointment of an official who is not affiliated with the Xi Jinping faction, his name is Zhou Ji. Too bad I don't have pictures to show you. Maybe I could post them in the community afterwards. Yeah, in the community board. Anyways, so his replacement is not affiliated with Xi Jinping faction. So this strongly suggests a policy shift on Hong Kong. But that alone is significant, but there's more. So this Zheng Yanxiong, the outgoing official Zheng Yanxiong, is an official disliked and once dismissed by Wang Yang. Zheng became infamous during the Wukan village uprising in Guangdong about 13 years ago. As a local party chief, he led a harsh crackdown, famously shouting, "If you trust foreign media, pigs will climb trees." So he was later referred to as the tree climbing pig party secretary for that comment. So Wang Yang was the Guangdong party secretary at the time. He was Zheng's boss. He criticized Zheng's actions and removed him from office. Wang took a dramatically different approach, choosing dialogue with the villagers and settled the dispute through negotiation. Afterwards, Wang even authorized open village elections in Wukan, which Wang praised at the time as a bold experiment in grassroots democracy. However, after Xi Jinping became the top leader, he stopped Wang's policies and promoted this Zheng Yanxiong and put him in charge of Hong Kong's affairs. So Zheng's sudden dismissal inevitably confirmed that Wang Yang has returned to power. Otherwise, there's no explanation why he's removed. Now let's talk about the sudden death of former vice chairman of the CMC, Qiliang. According to Xinhua's obituary, Xu died of illness at 12 p.m. So 12 minutes after noon on June 2nd, 2025, in Beijing at the age of 75. On surface, the official obituary offers nothing unusual, but the timing of his death is what raises eyebrows. I'll explain that later. Now, first of all, people don't believe he died on June 2nd at 12:12, because according to earlier leaks, he died from heart attack in the early morning of May 28th, with the first overseas reports emerging on May 31st. So he had, according to the leak on May 31st, he died on May 28th under immense pressure in recent days as part of the political purge and tightening of control. Marginalized and cleaned out from power, he fell into a state of extreme mental distress and just collapsed and died. So the source that reviewed this put it bluntly. So it was said, Xu Qiliang was scared to death. Okay, I don't know if there's such a thing that someone can be scared to death. I mean, that's an expression, but here it's literal. He was scared to death. Well, since the initial leak, there have been different variations of the story. Some said he died on June 1st while jogging. Some others said he died on June 2nd, which is the official narrative. But all versions point to a sudden cardiac event. So given the fact that his death was already leaked on May 31st, he most likely died before that. He most likely died on May 28th and not in June. Not on June 1st, not on June 2nd. There has been many discussions about his real cause of death because people find it hard to believe. Now, think about it. It's hard to believe that a general who had been through decades of CCP's brutal factional politics and political purges would die from fear and anxiety, right? It brings the question, well, what is he anxious about? Unless he has committed some serious crimes, such as a coup attempt or treason. Otherwise, people find it hard to believe that he would be scared to death. That's why some people believe that he might have been implicated in Xi Jinping's various attempts to stage a coup to regain control of the military. If so, Zhang Youxia might have made him be scared to death, right? So if that were the case, then, Zhang Youxia would certainly do something to scare him to death. Now, there's something else that's really strange about his death. Now, if he died on May 28th, it took the authorities 5 days to deliberate how to announce his death. In the end, they announced that he died on June 2nd at 12:12. The timing feels intentionally symbolic because the number double 12, 1212, has significant political implication. There are two major political coups d'etat in East Asia linked to 1212. That's December 12th. In China, December 12th, 1936, marked the famous Xi'an 事变, Xi'an incident, which is a military coup that changed China's history and helped the CCP defeat the nationalists. And it's widely known as the Double 12 incident. And it's the most famous political coup in modern Chinese history, and all Chinese know it. In South Korea, December 12, 1979, saw another Double 12 coup. General Chang Du-hwan launched a successful military coup. And in fact, in 2023, South Korea released a critically acclaimed film about this event. And I think it's called 1212 The Day. Yeah, 1212 The Day. Or some Chinese translated as Soul's Spring. But anyways, so ask for yourself, could this double 12 timing be purely coincidental, or someone made it so to suggest that General Hu Qiliang was involved in a coup? Because he didn't die on June 2nd. Well, believe what you will, but I find it odd that she died exactly on June 2nd. That's 6-2. 6 times 2 is also 12, right? So it's June 2nd, that's 12, and then at 12:12 p.m. Now, in Chinese culture, it's this kind of symbolism or euphemism are very important in political games. So don't, for Westerners, you may think, that's just maybe pure coincidence. But in Chinese politics, they use a lot of symbolisms because they cannot say it. It's all because of the lack of transparency. It's because of the lack of transparency. They must rely on symbolisms to get the message across. So now let's talk about General Hu Qiliang. So on July 2nd, 2018, there's a national security expert by the name of Bill Gertz published a lengthy expose revealing that Hu Qiliang had been a key figure in Xi Jinping's effort to consolidate personal power. Xu played a central role from 2012 to 2018 as Xi's enforcer in controlling and reshaping the military. He was also responsible for Xi's military reforms. Now, Hu Qiliang and the other two famous fallen Xi Jinping generals, Miao Hua and He Weidong, all had overlapping work experiences with Xi Jinping in Fujian. And they were all products of the Nanjing military region. That was before the military reforms. So during General Xu's time as vice chairman of the CMC, both Miao Hua and He Weidong rose swiftly through the ranks. So again, that makes people think, is his death purely coincidental, or is it somehow related to the downfall of Miao Hua and He Weidong? So so now let's come back to Wang Yang. Let me tell you about what Wang Yang said. Supposedly, what Wang Yang said at the gathering of the party elders, I should say. Like I said, I don't believe this is 100% accurate, but it gives you an idea. even if it's not 100% accurate or authentic, someone is trying to make you believe the content. So I think we should not underestimate it. So let me just tell you what he said. He said, when I got the meeting notice from the general office, I got mixed feelings. I've retired for over 2 years and haven't attended any meetings. I may as well. Let me put him on the screen. So this is the guy I'm talking about. All right. So he said, yeah, he said he got mixed feelings. He said, I've retired for over 2 years and haven't attended any meetings or be bothered with any state business. I don't even open the documents sent to me to avoid troubles. I don't visit people. The only exception was my visit to Comrade Hu Jintao during the Lunar New Year. Yesterday, I got a call from so-and-so about the meeting. I turned him down. I just recovered from COVID and don't want to spread it to others. Today, Comrade Cai Qi personally called me and said that I must come no matter what. So he came. And then he said, after arriving here, I realized this is an expanded standing committee meeting. Everyone here is past and current standing committee members. I'm very happy to see you all. I can't believe that I have suddenly become a party elder. I'm a bit younger than the old comrades here and would like to thank you for your past support and help to me. I wish all of you good health and longevity. So that was his opening. So it basically confirmed that it was a standing committee meeting and not Politburo meeting, which means that the number of attendees is much smaller. And then he said that Cai Qi told him that the meeting was arranged by the Central Military Commission. And so he found it to be very unusual. He said he didn't know the meeting agenda until after listening to other people spoke. And then he felt compelled to speak up as well. So he spoke candidly. It's a long speech. I'm not going to tell you everything that he said, but he mentioned his relations with Xi Jinping in the beginning. He said that he didn't agree with Xi Jinping in terms of their political view. He said he had a debate with Bo Xilai, who succeeded him as the leader in Chongqing. So Wang Yang was the party secretary of Chongqing, and when he moved to Guangdong, Bo Xilai became his successor, taking over Chongqing. And when Bo Xilai was in Chongqing, he was pushing his leftist agenda, while Wang Yang was pushing his reformist path or agenda in Guangdong. And Xi Jinping at the time was supportive of Bo Xilai's leftist agenda. So one day when he saw Wang Yang, Xi Jinping told Wang Yang and said that you should stop arguing with Bo Xilai because this is what Xi Jinping said. He said, you should stop arguing or debating with Bo Xilai because he's doing a much better job in Chongqing than you did. And Wang Yang said he didn't say anything to respond to Xi Jinping. He said that after he worked in the central government in 2013, he observed Xi Jinping and realized that he hasn't stepped out of his emotional attachment to the Cultural Revolution. That's what he said. He said after he became one of the top 7 leaders with Xi Jinping at the 19th Party Congress, he said they had more chances of interacting with each other. And he said, they didn't see eye to eye. They disagreed tremendously with each other. He also said that Xi Jinping didn't like him. And they got into arguments at one point. Xi Jinping basically said, well, you didn't even get proper education because Wang Yang didn't go to college. He didn't even finish high school. He started working at the age of 17 and didn't even finish high school. So Xi Jinping got upset and said, you weren't even properly educated. So why do you why do you try to tell me what to do? And then Wang Yang said, yes, I didn't go to school, but at least I don't claim that I have a PhD type. At least I don't fake my diploma or try to pretend that I have a PhD from Tsinghua. That's what Xi Jinping did. Xi Jinping has a PhD from Tsinghua University. So the two got into arguments. Anyways, so he said that it was a miracle that he was able to land safely without being investigated by CCDI, which is the Central Commission of Discipline Inspection. So in terms of his opinion on what Xi Jinping should do, he suggested that Xi Jinping resign from all positions. And then he said that if Xi Jinping doesn't resign, the party should remove him from his positions. He said the party elders should play a decisive role in this, and that the military should support their decision. I have no idea when he said this if Xi Jinping was present or not, because this meeting, supposedly happened on multiple occasions and across multiple days. It's possible that Xi Jinping wasn't even there when he said this. He also said that Xi Jinping should, the CCDI, the Discipline Inspection Commission, should open cases to investigate Xi Jinping's problems. And the reason is that he then addressed the call by other party elders who asked him to take over as the party leader or the premier. He said that he absolutely opposed the idea. The reason is that he has retired and currently holds no position whatsoever. He said he's not even in the Central Committee. He said that he's not trying to play hard to get, nor does he believe he isn't capable. His concern is protocol and procedure. He said that after the Cultural Revolution, Deng Xiaoping returned to power this way, by holding no position or title, but he said that's Deng Xiaoping, and he is no Deng Xiaoping. And he said that time has changed. He feels that it's better that they follow rules and procedure. So he suggested people who are currently in the Central Committee, like Hu Chunhua, Chen Jining, who is the Shanghai Party Secretary, to take the top position. So, and then he talked about his biggest regret. His biggest regret was doing nothing while watching Hu Jintao being taken away at the closing ceremony of the 20th Party Congress. He said, at that moment, I wasn't a human being. I feel like a piece of stone. And so he blamed himself for not standing up and do something, or even walking out with Hu Jintao. He recognized that he had fear in his heart. He was afraid to lose his retirement benefits. So from that moment on, he knew that he shouldn't return to politics because he was quite ashamed of himself. That's according to this speech. Now, the most important part of his speech is about Li Keqiang. So he brought up Li Keqiang. And by the way, quite a number of party elders brought up Li Keqiang. So one said that after retirement, he and Li Keqiang didn't see each other much to avoid troubles. By the way, for those of you who are not familiar with CCP politics, senior CCP leaders, they cannot see each other because they're being monitored by their assistants and drivers. Their security details are actually their surveillance. So, and even when they travel, they need to get permission from Xi Jinping, from the top leadership. That's just how things are in CCP politics. So he said that he and Li Keqiang didn't see each other much after their retirement, just to avoid troubles. Before Li Keqiang went on that fateful trip to Shanghai, he called Wang and said some weird things that he said he couldn't understand at the time. He said Li told him, he said, Li Keqiang supposedly said this to him. He said, "Old Wang, I don't have a good feeling lately. My destiny is here looking for me." And then Wang Yang said, I joked with him. I said, "Nonsense. You're in good health. Your destiny won't be here soon." He said 2 days later, Li Keqiang died in Shanghai. And he even said that, he said this conversation is on record because all of their phone conversations are recorded. Yeah, he said if you go look for this talk, you will find it. So he said he agrees with the other party elders that an investigation into Li Keqiang's death must be conducted, and he said justice needs to be served. I think now, let me come back. So I think Li Keqiang's death is the real reason that Xi Jinping has lost power. Think about it. If Li Keqiang is alive today, he's definitely the party leader taking over now. And Xi Jinping knew this and therefore feared him. But Li Keqiang's death was the turning point when Xi Jinping started to lose complete trust from people. Because people say that even Mao Zedong didn't directly kill his political opponents. What Mao did was he started a political struggle to turn people against his political opponents, but he himself did not directly attack his. I mean, he verbally attacked them, but he didn't physically attack them. So, because of Li Keqiang's death, and because of the removal of Hu Jintao at the party Congress, Xi Jinping's opponents are afraid that Xi is not giving up and that he's organizing a coup and is still looking for opportunity for a comeback. So, and that probably explains why General Xu Qiliang's sudden death, and why people believe that they will not delay the announcement of the new leadership team. Because the longer they wait, the more time they give to the other side. And that's why some people even believe that we may hear it as early as next week. Okay, so all of that is speculative analysis because nothing's confirmed. I think the most important signal we should watch tomorrow is whether or not Xi Jinping will appear on front page of People's Daily to receive the visiting president of Belarus. So that should be a good indication of where he stands in this power struggle now. All right, so before I take any questions, I want to mention to you, I made a video about the feng shui of White House. Interestingly, it's not getting as many views as my other videos in Leisrealtalk. I thought that you should be interested in that because it's about politics and Chinese culture. It's really a East meets West video, and I'm very proud of myself for doing that. It took me a lot of time to do. So Chris has copied the link of that video here in the description and also in the discussions. So when you have a moment, you take a look. All right, it's a lot of information. Let me see where have I lost people? Oh, I see some super stickers. Okay, wow. Okay, let me see. So I fixed the microphone problem, but I lost my slides. I have to challenge myself to get everything right for the next live stream. Okay, let me see. Let me see what people have for me. Questions, comments, disagreements? All are welcome. All right, super stickers, where are you? Super stickers. I want to thank people. I want to acknowledge the people who give me super stickers. Where are you? I see them, but oh, here's one. Richard Jones, thank you for your professional essentialism. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the support and the kind message. All right. Ragana brother. Ragana's brother. Thank you. Charles Womack. Isn't it the 9 dragons in the ruling of the water that rule the Chinese Communist Party? It may make more sense if it says, if I say it in Chinese, 九龙治水. That was the rule during Jiang Zemin's time. He expanded the 7-person Politburo Standing Committee to 9-person. The expansion was purely because he tried to expand it so that he get more of his people. He could stuff more people into the standing committee so that he got the majority. Yeah. So that was it was and then when Xi Jinping came, he reduced that back to 7-person. It was only a one-time thing under Jiang Zemin. Okay. Mark Irvin. Well, thank you, Mark, for the super sticker. James Honey. Thank you. Go, Lego. Okay. Yeah. All right. Question for me. No questions. Super stickers. Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank people. Gregory Miller. Do you think a coup will happen and the CCP can be replaced with a Taiwanese type leadership? I think internally it's difficult. I think that the challenge, I think whoever takes over, whether it's Wang Yang, whoever, I think that person has a very challenging job ahead of him, because the regime is not, if he wants to do the right thing for his people, then the regime, the system has to go. If he tries to save or protect the prestige of the Communist Party, then he has to go. He will go down just like Xi Jinping. So it will be a very difficult position for whoever takes over, because this party, this regime is insalvageable. I mean, there's just no salvage value. It has to go. Nothing works. The entire system actually started to collapse, started to unravel at the beginning of Xi Jinping's time. And he saw it. He knew that the reforms could not continue because it fundamentally contradicts with the party ideology. So he has to choose one, either the reforms or the party ideology. And he chose the party ideology. And so this is his inevitable destiny, right? So hopefully whoever takes over now will see that if they follow Xi Jinping by trying to protect the party, they will just end up like Xi Jinping. And actually, people describe the CCP right now as a bomb that has already been detonated. It's a bomb that has been detonated but hasn't exploded yet. So whoever accepts it, whoever takes over, if you don't get rid of this bomb, it's gonna explode in your hand. So the only way to stay safe is to get rid of the bomb, because that is, CCP is the bomb, and it has already been detonated. So when you ask me if the CCP can be replaced with a Taiwanese type leadership, only when the new leader is open enough to invite the leadership from Taiwan to join them, to co-administer China, or even to invite them over as an opposition party to have a coalition government. But you need a lot of political wisdom and courage to do that, right? Because that means you can lose your party, you can lose control. So it's possible, but it all depends on the wisdom and the vision of the new leader, whoever that person is. Jeffrey O'Neill. Hi, Lei. Do you think recent military catastrophes in Russia will see the CCP cut support to Putin, or will they force Russia to more since it's weak? I think Putin is trying to figure out if Xi Jinping is still in power because he understands if Xi Jinping lost control, um, I think the rest of the team, I mean, going by what we have seen, if Zhang Youxia and Wen Jiabao and Wang Yang are in control, I don't think helping Russia is their top priority. I mean, their top priority is social, economy, repair relations with the West, save the economy, reinstall social stability. I mean, that's their top priority. They understand that. So helping Russia is not not in their best interest. So I think Putin understands this. I think Putin's one of his ministers actually encouraged Xi Jinping to start a war with Taiwan because now Putin is interested in seeing another war breaking out in the Taiwan Strait because that will save him. I mean, that will distract the United States and then the whole West, the whole Western alliances. So the Russians are actually pushing Xi Jinping to start a war in the Taiwan Strait. But that may be, but whether Xi Jinping follows Putin or not, he will be taken. If he really starts a war, I think he may lose power. And he has already lost power. So I really don't think it's going to happen unless there's still remaining forces within the military that's still loyal to Xi Jinping, that are trying to stage a coup by starting a war in the Taiwan Strait. That's possible. And I think that may be, and I heard it, that there are still people in the military or even in the government who are loyal to Xi Jinping. And one of their tactics may be just to start a Taiwan war, and then put the country on under martial law, right? And then Xi Jinping, because he's currently the leader, but if they don't make any announcement, then Xi Jinping is still the leader. He still, calls the shot, and he can order the country to be under martial law. So, and that's why I think Zhang Youxia is so adamant about taking out these military leaders who are or who were trying to help Xi Jinping stage a coup for a comeback. And that may be a possible explanation of the sudden death of General Xu Qiliang. Think about it. He's scared to death. How many people can really be scared to death? It's just impossible. How scared will you be to die? I don't believe. He's not like someone who has not experienced the brutality of CCP factional politics. He's seen it. He's seen it all. And all of a sudden he's scared to death? It means that he's done something. He has done something. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so scared. And if he has done something, and that means the opposition to Zhang Youxia, right, or the loyalty, or those who pledge loyalty to Xi Jinping, it still exists, right? So the relations between the factional struggle between Xi Jinping and his opponents, in relations to the Taiwan War, in relations to China's relations to Russia, I think is all intertwined. Okay. All right. Let me see. Questions, comments? Oh, here's one. Silva Robert. Hey, Lei, in your imagination on topics you present, it seems you are a part of who is leading China. Seriously? What are you talking about? Are you even for real? Okay, I don't know. Is that a comment? Well, if you don't think I'm for real, that's fine. You know, there are people who believe that what I present is worth their time. So, well, thank you for being here. Pam Queck. Well, thank you, Pam. All right. Chris has forwarded a question. Oh, feng shui. Yeah. That's the link to the feng shui video. Here's a question from Netflix Foreign. Will you do a special alert stream if she pops up? I will. I mean, I almost did a live stream yesterday because I want to talk about Qiliang's sudden death. And so but I didn't. I waited until today. So I think a lot will happen in the month of June. So you'll see more of me. Stay tuned. Question: How do I feel about the current South Korean elections? Yeah, the Li Keqiang has won. I mean, he won by a lot, but he is adamantly pro-China. And I think his position didn't change. He continued to say that if a war breaks out in the Taiwan Strait, it has nothing to do with South Korea. So yeah, so the CCP won a big one in South Korea. I think the West has underestimated China's influence in South Korea. Japan as well, Taiwan, I mean, you name it. But the fortunate thing is the Taiwanese public is very aware of CCP's infiltration, whereas people in Japan and South Korea are not as aware or alert as the Taiwanese. So that's a real problem. Okay, X Matrix. Xi Jinping got his gooch burned while driving a BYD. Yeah, BYD is in serious trouble. Marcus Garcia. Serious talk. I want some lighthearted nonsense with my existential dread. What is the story of the cow next to the Pooh Bear? Oh, a cow. Yes, I have a cow. This cow belonged to my daughter. This is not my cow. It's my daughter's cow. And it's a puppet cow, and she outgrew it. So I inherited. And a few years ago, it was the year of the cow. So I think I used this to take a picture. Anyways, so yeah, so it has become my favorite stuffed animal, and so it gets. We have a small room full of stuffed animals, but only a few remained because they are our favorite. And so this stuffed animal is lucky enough to be picked to sit next to Winnie the Pooh. All right, a cow. All right. 17 forever. Didn't the generals who died daughter say he died earlier than the official date? Who died daughter? What? I think she came out on the 30th and said he had passed away of a heart attack. You mean the general Xu who died? Yeah, his daughter said that. Somebody claimed that his daughter said that he died of heart attack and was sent to the 301 military hospital. So it's possible that he was sent to the military hospital. But then, the hospital is also a place where people can be lethally injected, right? So a hospital is not a good place for some of the CCP officials. All right. Kiran Patel, would you think that communism is third world's political system? Third world. I don't think it's necessarily the third world. I mean, look at the first world. I mean, in US, the level of progressionism that's taking place in this country. I mean, it's on the borderline of communism. So it's not necessarily a phenomenon that belongs to the third world. It's in the first world and the second world. So, all right. Oh, here's one. Bork Floyd. What do you think U.S. officials are anticipating? I think the U.S. officials are anticipating that Xi Jinping is out. I mean, it would be, and I mean, the signals are there. It's you cannot ignore it. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out how long that transition will be, and if there's any way they could talk to the new leadership. So I think that the sooner they announce it, the better, right? If it drags on like this, it's not in everyone's interest. But it's very ugly. And someone was saying that not all the party elders agree on the direction of China in the next phase, because they all have their own agenda. And some of them are thinking for China and its people, but some of them are thinking for themselves. So they don't necessarily agree. And that's an ugly thing, you know? So whoever, assumes the top leadership role will have a tough job ahead of himself. Yeah, ahead of him. Okay. Dr. Shubhan Joshi, what do you think of India and relations with China? That deserves a scripted video of at least 20 minutes. Yeah, China and India. I'm actually working on a video about Russia and China. And it's in my other channel. It's about history. The history, it's a historical review of Russia-China relations. And I think it should be interesting to watch. Okay, I will. Oh, here's Samami. Do you think if Wang Yang takes leadership, relations will change between China and the U.S.? And do you think it will be better for the Chinese people? I think if he takes leadership, relations between U.S. and China will change. And I think it will be better for China. If he's left to do what he wants to do for China. If his hands are tied, then forget it. Okay. I think I reached the bottom. Here's a question from Michael Harrington, forwarded by Chris. What level do you think the South Korean elections was affected by the Chinese? I think it's a lot. I think there's information warfare. The pure size of the Chinese population in South Korea is alarming, and the fact that they're allowed to vote. I mean, South Korea isn't a large country, and they allow so many million Chinese to be there and to be able to vote. And the elite class has, I mean, the CCP strategy is always to corrupt the elite class, to get the media, the KOLs to be pro-China or pro-Beijing. So it's just very sad. And South Korean media, mainstream media, is very pro-Beijing, sadly to say. So it's a little too late. I think the conservatives have realized that, but it's a little too late in this election, at least in this election. And it's a small country for the CCP to infiltrate and influence. If Japan isn't careful, that they could, the same thing could happen in Japan too. All right. That's all for tonight. I reached the bottom. I apologize for my screwed up slides, and I will do a better job next time. Okay, I will see you on Thursday. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you in a few days. Bye.